For generations, the 4th of July weekend
soldier of fortune, gotta walk through the fire for what's important. The warrior's blood through your veins is coursing. Kill for hire, soldier of fortune. The whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act a fool. All you got and all you ever need is one bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, but ain't nobody wanna save you. So what you gonna do? Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Do or die, you're a mercenary. One of a kind that you're burdened to carry. Go and make them proud, do what's necessary. Oh no, do or die, you're a mercenary. Now the whole world's watching every move. Take your shot, don't act the fool. All you gotta know is one bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? One bullet in the chamber. Really needs to take your game, boy. Ain't nobody gonna save you. So what you gonna do? Now the whole world's watching every move. Still your heart so much to prove.
If it's Thursday, it's time for Mystic Racing League. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp here in the Slingshot Racing Media booth. And tonight, we're bringing you race number 21 of the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series live from the short track here at Iowa Speedway. In the heartland of America, where the fields of corn stretch endlessly to the horizon, there's a marvel of speed and spectacle. Iowa Speedway playing a host tonight to Mystic Racing League's 21st race of the season. Crafted by the skilled hands and racing soul of none other than Rusty Wallace, the Iowa Speedway opens its gates back in 2006, a creation inspired by the echoes of success resonating from Richmond, where Wallace had etched his own legacy and success. Over the years, the tarmac here at Newton, Iowa has witnessed the thunderous echoes of all-time racing greats, both from open wheel and stock cars. Names that echo through the ages like Franchitti, Newgarden, Busch, Blaney, legends who've left their tire marks here at Iowa. Yet, as fate would have it, Iowa found itself at a crossroads during the COVID-19 pandemic. The threat of closure was looming large. It was casting a shadow over everything that went on at this track. But then came a silver lining, a partnership forged with Roger Penske and Hy-Vee, breathing new life into the track and resurrecting it from the brink of closure back in 2022. Now, nearly 2 decades since its debut, Iowa has firmly cemented its place in NASCAR history. It arrived for the Cup Series in June of 2024, just last year, where it hosted its first Cup Series race, part of a thrilling triple-header weekend. Logan, fun fact about Iowa Speedway that many fans might not know. It was the first track to install the now standard safer barrier around its entire perimeter to help ensure the safety of drivers when they hit the wall. I can't miss the chance for an Iowa corn pun tonight. Quick joke, why'd the corn get mad at the farmer?
I don't know.
Logan,
why.
any idea? Because he kept pulling its ears. Yeah, I know. There are going to be plenty more tonight, folks. Just stick around. While there might not be any physical ear pulling tonight, tempers are going to likely flare as we race at one of our short tracks this season, and it's going to be especially feisty out there tonight. What a driver's going to need to do to make sure they don't fall victim to any conundrums as they take on the maze of challenges tonight here at Iowa for the Slim Chickens 150.
Well, I can't glaze over the fact that that was one of the corniest intros and segues into a greeting here. But what it's going to take is tire management. We have a extremely hot track out here today, Ellis. It is already 123 degrees on the surface. So tire management is going to be key tonight. However, we have quite a few tires available as we can go ahead and take a quick glance at our race analysis. 150 laps on the night. Fuel range, we're expecting to see anywhere from about 55 to 60 laps on the fuel cell. 6 sets of tires on the night. And of course, our stage break at lap 35 and lap 80. So there's quite a bit to work with here in terms of tires, but it's still going to come down to who can put together the long run speed if that green flag stays out.
Logan, those tires and long runs are going to be one of many stories that we're going to be talking about tonight. We'll have several of those for the fans watching at home on YouTube. If you're already in the chat, thanks for joining us. We can't wait to chit-chat with you throughout the race. But before we get to any of that, it's time for everyone's favorite pre-race tradition here at Slingshot Racing Media. Everyone rise and remove your caps, if able, for the playing of the national anthem. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to Iowa Speedway, just moments away for the green flag start here of race number 21 for Mystic Racing League. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp in the booth. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. Before we get to that green flag action, we've got some stories to set it up at home to make it a little bit more entertaining for you fans watching, and that really starts with just 6 races remaining in the regular season before we start that 7-race playoff, and point standings are close. 4 drivers, as you can see right now, have locked their way in with a win. Janik, Cochran, Holston, Barnes, they've had great seasons. And then you go for Alex Pollock, Derek Jewett, Caleb Hunt. They've also had consistent seasons, Logan, that have yielded them good results, but they haven't got that win yet. Are you nervous if you're around 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th that you might not get in potentially because you've got some folks breathing down your throat? What does that feel like as a driver?
Well, as a driver, it's always nerve-wracking. You don't want to be that first car outside of the cut line. And David Moyer right now sitting in that position in 13th. He's got some races to make that ground up, and it's not a whole lot further back than what you would think. He's got room to make it up, possibly to the top 10 before the playoffs arrive.
Lots of stories, including those points. Drivers going to be worrying about every car around them tonight, Logan. Every point, like you just mentioned, is going to matter. Drivers going to be looking to get some maybe upset wins tonight at Iowa. We'll see if that is a possibility as we go on throughout the evening. But in addition to those points, we've got 4 other stories that we're following. This is a repave. These drivers likely haven't experienced the new Iowa Speedway. Very much different than the one they've become accustomed to. What's changed here at Iowa in the past season or so?
So with the new update on the Iowa racing surface, you open up a whole lot of doors for different racing lines now. Where Iowa used to be, a top and a bottom type of track, now you can use the bottom, the middle, the top. You can use in between lanes even to do anything that you really want to. So that's what these drivers have to look forward to with this.
Now, I'm curious if drivers are going to be nervous about getting too high. This is very line sensitive. You don't want to get out in those marbles. Do you think we're going to see any contact with drivers tonight, potentially get that inside line away from the driver in front of them?
The restarts and the initial start are going to be treacherous here. The side-by-side driving on cold tires, it's going to be a big deal. So staying out of that top groove, we're going to have a little bit of marble carryover from the practice and the qualifying session. So there will already be some there that these drivers have to avoid.
And lastly, long run discipline. We very well, you mentioned it earlier, could see a long run tonight. How are drivers going to lock in for, 50, 60 laps and run the best line to manage those tires? How difficult is that as a driver to stay locked in?
It's all about finding your groove and establishing that groove early. So you have to just get settled in, let the nerves work out after that green flag drop to start the race. Everybody's going to be on edge for the first 5 to 10 laps. But once we see good runs start to form, that single file field will be here up until that tire starts to fall off a little bit more.
Well, speaking of green flags, Logan, we are almost there, which brings us to the Fall Creek Plumbing starting grid for tonight. And before we get to that, quick word about the series sponsor, Fall Creek. When a pipe bursts or drain backs up, I know the drivers are hoping that doesn't happen to them tonight. They need someone they can trust. That's where Fall Creek Plumbing comes in. I had a plumbing issue a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I'm far away from the Midwest with Fall Creek, but they're 50 minutes northeast of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we were a couple of weeks. They're family owned, they're committed to quality, and they've been serving their community for a long time, for over a decade. So if you need any help, whether it's an emergency or routine repair or renovation, make sure to get in touch with Fall Creek Plumbing if you're in that Indianapolis area. Now, hopefully, these drivers don't have any issues tonight inside the mechanical elements of their car. It's always a possibility, but the one who's probably going to worry about it most is the points leader. He's got the most to lose here tonight. That's Evan Janik. He's going to be starting on the pole in that number 71 with Christian Barnes. Strong season. He's got a win earlier this season. He's going to be starting on the outside of row number 1 in second. Andrew Schob, fastest in practice in that 69. He's going to be coming from third place tonight. Brad T. Nelson, this is a driver that's been coming on for the past 2 months or so. Faster and faster each race. Don't be surprised if you see that 33 vying for the lead tonight. He's going to come from fourth. And then Derek Jewett, the number 45, has speed almost every week, but always seems to find himself with bad luck. Can he get the job done tonight from fifth? Adam Holston starting in sixth position with David Moyer starting on the inside of row number 4 and 7th. Josh Gillen showed some speed in practice starting 8th. Gavin Henson 9th with Alex Pollock starting 10th. Will be following his heart rate throughout the race. He'll be starting on the outside of row 5. Logan, I'll let you take it away for the final 10.
We've got it covered here. Row 6 will be that 84 of Jacob Cochran starting out in 11th next to the 16 of Aaron Espy on the outside row.
Stephen Gill going to be starting 13th with Caleb Hunt in that 78. He's shown some speed in recent weeks. He'll be starting 14th tonight. Reggie Kime 15th along with Brandon Willard in 16th. Gino Volante on his birthday starting 17th in the field. Douglas Wasaki showed some speed in practice, but he's going to have to come from row number 9 if he's going to get the job done tonight. Final row is going to be Alan Zukoff in that 91 machine with Christopher Benning starting tail end of the field in 20th. Logan, you're on top of the pit box. You're working with your driver as crew chief. What are you telling them in this final half a lap before we get going?
Well, it's like I kind of already mentioned about that long run pace. You just got to get settled in. You don't want to get too nervous here. Everybody else around you is going to be willing to make a move that you might not be able to. So you have to be prepared on the starts and the restarts for people to make something happen that you might not quite be comfortable with yourself.
Are you aggressive as a driver here on a restart? How hard are you going early on trying to get spots?
Absolutely. Track position is going to be key here tonight. Is Iowa, the clean air is going to be so important. You do not want to be that second or third car in line.
Drivers hoping to have a clean view out in front of them tonight as we're about half a lap away from the start of race number 21. For the Fall Creek Plumbing Series, that's Evan Janik in that 71 machine starting on the pole. To his outside, it's going to be Christian Barnes. Both of those drivers showed speed and promise in practice. They're going to be looking to pull away from the rest of the field, but Andrew Schob looks eager on the inside of row number 2 in that 69. Pace car gets a little bit of a gap on the field. He's going to make that left-hand turn down to pit road as cars round out through turn number 4. Evan Janik looking for that green flag, and there it is. It's out for the first time tonight. We're racing here under the lights in Iowa. 71 of Janik inside, dives it down into turn 1. Christian Barnes to the outside, one little stack up behind them. Everyone looks like they've got it gathered back up as they roll through turns 1 and 2. Now to the backstretch for the first time.
Now we've got Derek Jewett looking to make a move on the inside. He's kind of losing ground on the 69 of Andrew Schob, but he's going to single file out right behind as soon as he can. Defending now against Brad T. Nelson in the 33, looking around the outside. Seems to have some speed out there, but the 45 able to dive it in just a little bit deeper, gets clear of the 33, now under threat from behind the 47 of David Moyer.
Derek Jewett with that traditional long-run speed. He's using Andrew Schob as his wingman as Schob looks to the inside of Christian Barnes down through turns 3 and 4. Now onto the front. Straightaway, one car off the wall. That's Jewett down to the apron. He gets it gathered back up after losing about 4 or 5 spots. Schob continues on. He's now up to second, chasing down that number 71 of Evan Janik. Just now 4 car lengths separate first from second.
Interesting detail here that we didn't quite get to. Track temperature way down from what we saw in the practice session. It was 123 degrees just a few moments ago. Now it's only 80 degrees on the track surface. So these tires now, it's a whole different ballgame.
Maybe drivers feeling a little bit more confident, Logan.
Absolutely. I would have to feel a whole lot more confident, especially having that first stage break at lap 35. You can go all out for 35 laps here and see what you can do. If it doesn't work out, you make a change for stage number 2.
Speaking of going all out, Adam Holston right now on the inside of Christian Barnes. Holston looking to vault his way up to third. Barnes, meanwhile, struggling with a poor handling car, falling back 2 positions just since the start 4 laps ago. They're side by side. One car smoke in front of them. Not sure what happened there off of turn number 4. Everyone's got it gathered back up, but Holston and Barnes still do battle down into turn number 1. Holston on the inside. He looks to have the favorable position. Barnes just trying to keep it out of the marbles, but he might get a run off the corner down the backstretch.
We are going to see that 8 of Holston slide up in front of the 27 now. Christian Barnes holds down the 4th spot, but I tell you what, this bottom line, once those tires got up to temperature, this bottom line is going to show some speed here early on in this race, maybe even carrying on all the way to that checkered flag.
One car out of the groove. That's David Moyer in the 47, just a little bit further behind these guys, now headed down the back straightaway. Not sure what happened to David, but Derek Jewett's going to slide underneath. That 47 really running high right now. We talked about the dangers with the repave. It's made this inside line far more enticing, but it's made that outside line far more dangerous if you get a little bit too high. And David Moyer paid the price as we ride on board and watch several cars, including Alex Pollock in that 92, work their way by. That 47 is struggling right now, Logan.
And there's a slight hump on the exit of turn 2. You can see it on the onboard camera where it crests just enough. And if you've got a lot of speed coming off that corner and the rear suspension unsettles, then you can get some wheel spin. That's where we're going to see a lot of the cautions come out from tonight. So you see it right there, just a little bit of a crest. It can be dangerous.
Lap number 9 of 150, no cautions yet. Knock on wood. Evan Janik is your leader. He's running out front right now by about 4 or 5 car lengths over Andrew Schob in that number 69. Just about 4 car lengths behind them, it's Adam Holston. But there is a battle for the 5th position right now. Brad Nelson working on the outside of Christian Barnes, the number 27. Can he get by the long way here in that Air Jordan Special number 33? That outside line's looking good right now. We talked about drivers maybe being a little bit more comfortable tonight as the temperatures have dipped on the track, but Barnes is going to get the better of that fight. Now Pollock looks to take advantage of the hole Barnes opened.
Yeah, it looked like Brad T. Nelson made some contact with the wall through the trial. Slowed up the 33 enough to let Christian Barnes back by. But I think that Nelson has the speed here to get around the 27, no matter what lane he chooses, as long as he can hold on to the tires a little bit longer. It seemed like Barnes was maybe struggling with the top line with the battle with Holston. He was already struggling early in the battle with Nelson. So it's just a matter of time before the 27 gets past here, I believe.
Brad Nelson, a driver who's had a consistent string of runs, successive top 10s before 2 weeks ago at Indianapolis, where he got in a crash, as we watched Pollock get a little bit loose there, got in a crash late on in the race and had to settle for 21st position. And unfortunately, it was right before an off week. How frustrating is that, Logan, to have a poor finish before you head into an off week and have to sit with that for 2 weeks?
It stews. It is a terrible feeling to sit there for 2 weeks knowing that you cannot redeem yourself. That is the worst feeling as a driver, to come away with a bad finish if you're used to being up in the top 10 or the top 5 week after week and you finish outside of the top 20. It's demoralizing.
Drivers doing their best not to be demoralized tonight. Several drivers having a good run, but a little bit further back in the field, drivers maybe looking to work their way up. Back in the 14th and 15th position, a battle is brewing between Stephen Gill and Reggie Kime. That 0-1 in that 9 as they fight their way through turns 3 and 4 side by side. That's Gill on the outside, Reggie Kime in that number 9 machine on the inside. He's going to get the better of that fight, move Kime up to the 14th position. Gill slides back to 15th with Gino Volante on his own birthday, looking to get a little bit better up to 15th, but he's got some work ahead of him.
That he does, but he's right there in the picture for that battle, so it could happen at any given moment. Up here a little bit closer to the front, battle around Jacob Cochran here in the 84 machine, trying to get around the 45 of Derek Jewett. Then he's got Alex Pollock just up ahead, still trying to catch up with Brad T. Nelson. And we've got some stirring going on up here in the top 5. Looks like maybe a lap car.
Lap car of Zukov in the 91. He climbs the banking to the outside, gets out of the way for Barnes and Holston as they battle for that number 3 position on track right now. Less than a car length separate the two down the back straightaway. Holston trying to draw to the rear bumper of that 27 of Barnes. 2 different lines. That's a great illustration, Logan, of the 2 different lines that you've seen drivers running in that new repave. And it looked like Barnes might have had a better shot out of the corner that time, thanks to it.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to be about in the late runs on the tires, is that exit speed. You can really slow it down on the entry and really focus on getting a good exit, and you can make some really fast passes in a tight case scenario.
One thing I'm seeing tighten up right now is the battle for the lead. Evan Janik has not been able to get away from Andrew Shobe in that number 69. If anything, Shobe might have closed the gap by about 2 or 3 car lengths over the last 2 laps. He's about 4 car lengths back right now, but this is the closest he's been to Janik here in the last 6, 7, 8 laps since the start of this race. As they work their way off of the front straightaway, Janik might have gotten a better launch that time as we look on the out the back window of that number 71 machine down into turns 1 and 2.
You can see the 69 of Andrew Shobe getting a little bit lower down there in the corner. It does hinder his speed through the midsection of the corner just a touch more, but it's saving the tires. Touching the apron, however, will not help Shobe right now.
And he's glad he's up there because there is a major hornet's nest building behind Brad Nelson. It's Adam Holston, Alex Pollock, Derek Jewett there banging bumpers through turns 1 and 2. And this, I think, has started Holston. We saw slip back a couple of positions over the course of about a lap and a half. I think driver number 8 might be struggling with handling as we watch that 92 struggle to keep the bottom of the track right now. Derek Jewett working that outside line, and he's going to make the pass on Pollock. Pollock struggling, Holston struggling. We're just about currently 22 laps in, and this is approaching the halfway point of this run. Maybe starting to see drivers struggle a little bit if they use those tires a little bit too much so far.
It's hard to say. You have a lot of tire sets over the wall, so like I said at the beginning, I feel like it's best to go as hard as you can in the first stint. Yes, there are points on the line for the top 5, but if you're not in a top 5 position, you might as well try your hardest to get up there. And if it doesn't work out, You turn around, you reevaluate for stint number 2 until that lap 80 mark. And if that doesn't work, you turn it around one more time and see what you can do to the end of the race.
Derek Jewett right now in that 45, looking to see what he can do tonight. Took a bit of a hiatus for a few weeks about a month ago, and since he's been back, Logan, this 45 has been on a tear. Third at Milwaukee, fifth at the Chicago Street Course, if you remember, you called that one. And then last week at Indianapolis, finished second, runner-up position. What does that do to the confidence level of a driver who had maybe struggled for consistent finishes over the course of the season, to have a string like that and then to seemingly be fast tonight as well?
It is a massive confidence boost, but you can't let it inflate the ego by any means. There's still a lot of work to be done until the playoffs arrive. So you still have chances to make mistakes. You can't get, too big of a head to where it fills up the race car. And that's going to be important for Jewett here going through the next, I believe you said 6 races.
Right now, Holston off the wall down the backstretch. Pollock's going to take advantage of that slip. Gavin Henson in that number 39, not too far behind, along with Jacob Cochran in the number 84, right behind them in that slipstream. Hey, folks, if you're tuning in right now, we are incredibly grateful. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp in the booth. We love bringing you live racing every single week. Tonight, as a thank you, as we do many nights, we're giving away a Ryan Blaney diecast. The rules are super simple. You could win what's on the screen right now simply by being an active participant in the chat. We love it if you say hi. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you who you're rooting for and supporting tonight. But let's keep that chat going. It's something we love to do every single week. Let us know who you're rooting for. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the upcoming races, even in the real NASCAR season, or react to what you're seeing on track. Anything and everything is fair game. We just ask that you be nice, and we'll choose one lucky fan that's the fan of the race and the most active chatter at the end of the night, and we'll send this Ryan Blaney diecast to them absolutely free of charge. Send your friends our way as well. It's going to be an exciting race. We'd love for you to share it with anyone and everyone that you know. Thanks for tuning in. Right now, working lap number 29. No cautions yet, Logan. Are you surprised that we've remained clean and green here with just about 5 laps left in stage number 1?
I am not at all surprised. These drivers put down a lot of laps in the practice sessions and the days leading up to it today. So there's been a lot of time spent out here perfecting these lines, getting used to that repaved track, and it's showing already. I would not be surprised if we can make it through stage 2 under the same conditions.
Hey, you love green flag racing. Everyone loves to see crashes too, but there's always the driver on the other end of that. Right now, Christian Barnes making a run into second place, working his way by the number 69 of Jacob Cochran, and the number 69 of Andrew Shope. Don't look now, but the 71 of Janik just had to get by the 64 of Christopher Benning to put him a lap down. It very well might open the door for the 27 of Christian Barnes, who's as close as we've seen any car to the back bumper of Janik today. He's going to make that left-hand dive down into turn 3 to get under the number 64. Janik's not too far out in front. They work down the front straightaway now. Just 4 laps remaining in this stage. Now 3 laps. Christian Barnes might want a stage win. Remember, points are on the line here for the top 5, and every championship point matters. When we hit that reset button, you're going to want those points.
That you do. You do not want to go into the playoffs empty-handed, so any bonus point that you can pick up is going to be big going into the late runnings of that. And it's going to be a tough one here for Christian Barnes. If he wants to catch up to Janik and make that pass, he's going to have to do something special. And it looks like he's going to try a big sin to the inside here in turn 1. Janik comes right back down, cuts the clean air off the nose, and he's going to get that run out of turn 2. Looking good right now for the 71.
Barnes pays the piper, so to speak, off of turn 2. When you have that entry low into the corner with a head of speed, you're going to lose it on some point, and that was the exit for the number 27 here. But just with half a lap remaining as they work their way through turns 1 and 2, Barnes hasn't given up hope yet. He's got one more chance to make a run at the stage win. Janik will give him the inside line, but Barnes chooses to go right with him in his air trail. Right behind him in that middle groove, Janik, when the cars cross the start-finish line 1 through 5, this stage does become official, and race control has thrown the yellow flag to end stage 1. Your top 5 as they run, and point recipients here in stage 1 include Evan Janik, stage winner, Christian Barnes a close second, Andrew Schob third, Brad Nelson fourth, and Derek Jewett in fifth. And one thing I want to point out to you, Logan, before we see potential pit stops, top 5 stationary for the entire first stage. You don't see that often.
Not often at all. A couple passes made, however, but at the end of it, sorts itself right back out to how we started this one 35 laps ago.
Sorting themselves out right now on the back straightaway, finding the pace car. Pace car is going to bring them down to 45 miles an hour. We're going to see if we're going to get any yellow flag pit stops here. The 71 playing coy right now, not give us any indication of what we're potentially going to see here on lap number 37. Will we see pit stops? Will we won't? We started to see several drivers' cars handling deteriorate, and it looks like we will see all lead lap cars come to the attention of their pit crews here for the first time tonight. Yellow flag pit stops are underway at the end of stage number 1. It's going to be Janik leading the way along with Christian Barnes. A slow speed, a slow crawl down this long front straightaway here at Iowa. First pit stops incoming. Drivers got to be careful not to slide it into their pit stalls and potentially go over the line and have to hit it reverse.
Yeah, that is a worst case scenario. And, you know, you've got 5 tire sets over the wall. I agree with the entire field here. You might as well just come down. No reason to play it uncautiously, if that's even a word. But we're going to see it happen here as Janik, both sides drop. He'll be first one out. Doesn't have to make any weird movements out of the box. Straight in, straight out for the 71, and I think that top 5 is going to remain exactly how it was.
I think the one change we're going to see is Alex Pollock, who came off in 5th, slightly in front of Derek Jewett in that number 45. So move back Jewett to 6th, move up Alex Pollock as we watch that heart rate monitor. A little bit high for Alex right now, 110. We're normally used to seeing the cool, collected Brett Wren in the 90s or high 80s, but a little bit of pressure on that pit stop for Alex Pollock might explain that climbing heart rate up at the top right hand of the screen. Those insights we try to bring you folks are cool. It shows that, hey, this is, I know it's a game. You know, we don't like to call it a game. It's a simulation, but there's some energy, there's some skill, there's some physical force that these drivers have to put in every single week, and you're seeing it right there on the screen with that heart rate monitor being tracked for Alex Pollock. Right now, working the first caution, and it is a stage caution to end stage 1. Evan Janik, your stage winner. Christian Barnes, 2nd. Andrew Schob, 3rd. Brad Nelson, 4th, with Derek Jewett finishing in the 5th position, but Alex Pollock has since climbed up under pit stops. With that being said, folks, we got some bills to pay. We're going to take one quick ad break to hear from our partners at AmSoil, and we'll be right back on the other end of that 30-second ad. Do not go anywhere. Back here in Iowa, stage 1 complete for race 21 of the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series for Mystic Racing League. Working the stage caution, no driver came in contact with the wall, so that's the good news. It's the first caution of the night. It's been a relatively clean race. The top 5, for the most part, stayed stationary. There's been a lot of action further through the pack right now. Drivers coming to the choose line. Will they choose the outside or the inside? No surprise, Janik's going to choose the inside. Pollock's going to line up on the outside. Barnes is going to line up on the outside. What do you make of the call here, Logan? If you're the driver's seat, what are you thinking about with making that choice of the outside line or inside line?
Well, interestingly enough, we saw to start this race, the outside line on cold tires seemed to have the speed that they would need to gather a couple positions, find a hole to get back down to the bottom after about 2 or 3 laps, and just keep it there. That bottom line is going to be your friend here tonight, but top line on the restarts, I think, is a very good call.
Top line on the restart going to be the choice of Barnes. We'll see if he can translate that momentum on cold tires to potential run for the lead. No one's really been able to challenge Evan Janik, your pole sitter tonight, but now it's going to be on Barnes as he looks to accomplish that. Pace cars going to peel off to the left. We're getting ready for the green. It's going to be on Evan Janik. He mashes the go button. We're underway once again here in Iowa. Great start for Janik. Meanwhile, Barnes struggles on the outside. Shobe looks to the inside. He's got the 92 of Pollock breathing down his neck in that number 92. They work their way off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Stobe certainly backed up corner number 1 there. I thought that Christian Barnes was going to be clear to get down to the bottom.
No,
but
one car in the wall. Sorry to interrupt there. That might have been the 01 of, so that's the 16 of Aaron Espy, actually. It's going to put us under the first caution tonight.
So Aaron Espy with the first natural caution. Good news for him if that damage is too much. We do have one fast repair available on the race tonight.
See if we can't figure out what happened here, Logan.
Absolutely. Back here on that slingshot instant replay, you see he's making up some ground here using that top line, but just a little bit too far out. You want to be on that darker racing surface, the lighter shaded asphalt. It's still slick.
That is the danger zone we were talking about in pre-race, and you saw it play out there. Now, I'm curious if we might try to get a word, now that we have a caution, maybe try to get a word with Christian Barnes. I'm going to pull him into the booth, and we'll see what he's thinking right now, running in second place. Hey, Christian Barnes, it's Ellis and Logan in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, you've had a good view all night long in second place. How's that car handling out there, especially over the course of that long run that we just saw?
Yeah, the first few laps, it's a little bit tight. And through that run, I actually lowered the brake bias by 2 full, or I guess 4 clicks. And it helped me turn a lot. And I started, trying to change lines, find, what worked. And towards the end of that run, I found the right line and I was coming, but just ran out of laps.
Well, man, so we're making some mechanical adjustments, it sounds like. What's it going to take to get by Evan Janik? He's been fast all season, but certainly has speed tonight as well.
I just got to get a decent enough run on him to the point where I can, pick what lane I want to use against him. And or I can just hope that he makes just a little mistake, and I'll just try to be there.
Well, man, we'll be watching closely. Good luck out there for the rest of the race. Christian Barnes, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So, Logan, what do you make of the mechanical adjustments? We've heard for the first time a driver messing with that brake bias dial. What does that do to the car?
I like that call a lot. You've got to move the brake bias back here as that track temperature comes down. So what you're doing is distributing the braking force from the front axle back to the rear axle. The more you dial it back means the more you're pulling that braking power to the rear of the vehicle, which helps slow down harder and faster. However, you're a little bit more likely to lose control, maybe send that rear end around the car if you dial it too far back. You push it forward, then you're talking about creating a better steering car into the corner.
Man, Logan, we try to dial the brake bias and the intensity and energy up every week for the folks at home, which leads us to the next plug. I know we got to say it, folks. If you haven't hit that subscribe button to the Slingshot Racing Media YouTube channel, it's absolutely free. It does not cost you a single dime, and it helps us grow our audience and get your favorite drivers out in front of more eyeballs every single week. Also, make sure to hit that like button. That thumbs up doesn't cost you a thing. The one thing we'll add that does cost a little bit, if you are so inclined, there's no pressure. It's absolutely free, to watch. But if you want to show your love a little bit, there's that super chat option as well in the chat. We will absolutely read your comments, guaranteed, if you give us a super chat, and we'll also focus in on the driver you want us to show and talk about. So that's what the super chat gets you. No pressure. Watching's absolutely free, but if you're so inclined, show us a little bit of love there. If you're tuning in right now for the first time, it's lap 46 out of 150. We're under the first natural caution for an Aaron Espy spin. Don't worry, he's fine. He's got that car all patched up. He's ready to get back in the action if you're rooting for Aaron tonight. Right now, drivers coming to the choose line. They're going to choose the outside or the inside for this restart, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, you saw it there. Christian Barnes ducked to the outside. Job in third is going to be the first car to go to the outside. I wonder if Christian on the outside didn't like what he felt there on that restart through turn one, Logan.
He did mention the car feeling tight for the first couple of laps, so interesting to see him go for the bottom of the track. He's really going to have to slow down if he wants to take away that factor into the corner here of turn one. But I don't know, maybe being behind Janik here on the restart isn't a bad call. We saw him not get the jump that he needed on the outside. So maybe being able to tuck right up underneath the back bumper of the 71 can change that this go around.
Not going to have to wait long to find out what's going to happen as the pace car winds its way through turn 3 and 4. The 71 of Janik on the inside, second place on the outside, elected to choose the outside line, Andrew Shobe. Pace car makes the hard left turn. It's going to be on Janik. He hits the go button. Once again, we're back underway here in Iowa. Janik gets away nicely. The 69 of Shobe as well. He might have a challenge from Barnes on the inside. He does indeed as they head through turns 1 and 2. Shobe on the outside, Barnes on the inside, neck and neck as they head down the back straightaway.
Flipping the script is the 27 and the 69. Last restart, Shobe on the inside line, putting pressure on Barnes. This time, Barnes is able to get ahead of Andrew Shobe. He claims that second place position right now, but it's the battle for third that just finished, fourth that just finished up. Derek Jewett will be able to get away from Brad T. Nelson and Jacob Cochran as he will finally settle out. Contact!
33 of Nelson, hard crash down into turn number 3. Will it collect anybody else? We're going to have to wait to find out. I think it might have been a 2-car incident as we were talking about it, Logan. The commentator's curse strikes once again, and we're going to have to return to the scene of the crime. There might be some hurt feelings. We're going to try to find out what happened with the instant replay.
So you see it here, Jewett has quite a bit of advantage, but comes up a little bit higher, almost makes contact with the wall. And then you've got the 33, Brad T. Nelson, just sending it into the corner where he thought he'd be all right. I can't quite tell if the 45 came down. I don't think the 33 came up. I don't know. That's a tough one to call from up here.
Yeah, I might chalk it up to one of those racing incidents. You can't tell if maybe Brad thought that the 45 would have been carrying a little bit more speed into the corner, but either way was maybe caught both drivers a little caught off guard there. Also, cold tires cooled down from the short run we had before, and being under caution could have played a role in that either way. But the end fact remains that the 33 of Nelson and the 45 of Jewett are going to sustain heavy damage. We did mention these drivers do have a quick repair, so if you're rooting for them at home, do not worry. One way or another, they will get back out here and be up to speed, guaranteed in a jiff. In the chat right now, lots of folks tuning in. We got John Rapp, we got Ballin' Cat Productions. Hey there, shout out to DJ. We got Chris Smith as well, hoping for no black flags on drivers tonight. We got Joshua Gillett. Joshua, you always type in. Make sure you're focusing on racing, man. We got to get you a good finish tonight. You're trying to make your way in the playoffs. We'll check in on Joshua in a little bit. We got AJ Hale in here asking how he can join the commentary team. Must be making it look too easy, Logan. AJ, I told you, shout out, email us. I gave you our email address as well. Several other folks. Court, we got her rooting for Derek VK in here. Chris Smith, is always, bringing the jokes every single week. Looks like you might have. Logan, you're supposed to be broadcasting. You're in the chat.
I don't know what you want to tell me. I mean, gotta be intermingled with the fans, you know. That's half the fun up here.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We are amongst the people, right? We're of the people here at Slingshot Racing Media. We are so glad you have chosen to join us tonight for race number 21 of the Fall Creek Plumbing National Series from Mystic Racing League. Working caution number 3, technically natural caution number 2. Right now, lap 52. Drivers just trying to work their way around. We're a third of the way, past the third of the way of the 150 lap mark tonight. Janik, Barnes, and Shobe, that's your top 3. Jacob Cochran and Alex Pollock round out the top 5 with Adam Holson sitting in 6th. I believe we're going to be coming to the choose rule right now here at the line. See if the pace car lights are going to go out. I think we're going to get the 1 to go. Janik is going to, oh, no, they're in the middle. We're going to have another lap. You know what? With that being said, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to potentially drag a driver in here to the waiting room. You got any special requests, Logan?
You know, I don't, but I'm thinking maybe that's 16 of Aaron Espy. Let's talk to him about that first caution.
Let's get old Aaron in here from race chat number 3. Aaron Espy, this is Ellison Logan in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man. Well, things were going well until they weren't for you a little bit earlier. Walk us through how these cars are handling, particularly yours right now, and if you got anything to get back up there.
Yeah, I got a little bit loose. I'm not going to take tires. I'm kind of going to save on it. I'm not here for points. I'm only here for the win, so going to just try to survive this thing till the end.
Checkers or wreckers mentality. Right now, where's the best way to get by cars on the track? Is the inside kind of the place to be right now?
Yeah, with the track temp being as low as it is, the inside's pretty good.
All right, man. We'll be watching that inside line. Good luck out there for the rest of the night, Aaron.
All right, thank you.
All right, so you saw drivers at the choose right now. The 71. Interesting choice, Logan. What do you think about moving up to the top for Evan Janik, leaving that bottom for Christian Barnes?
Well, we've seen Janik completely shoot away from the rest of the field on the last 2 restarts. So I think if he can continue that, you know, that just eliminates the quick move that he has to make up the track to get that perfect dive down into turn 1. He can already be on that high line for that entry. I think it's a good move here for the 71. But if Christian Barnes can get a good restart this time, it'll change the story here a little bit.
Well, we're going to find out. Turn into the next page of that story right now as the pace car peels to the left. It's going to be on Janik on the outside for the first time tonight. Christian Barnes to the inside. But for the first time, Jacob Cochran into the top 3 on the outside. And that number 84 laying chase to the 27, who's going to slide up the track. Be careful not to slide up in front of the 84. He forces that 84 really high, almost out of the groove, into the marbles. Cochran's going to fight back into turn 3. Looks like Barnes wins that battle as they come back onto the front straightaway.
And Barnes will be able to slide up completely free of the 84 now. Cochran now holding down that 3rd position solely. So Andrew Show might be trying to make up some ground here. Looks like that gap is closing to that 3rd place spot. However, we are completely single filed out all the way through the top 10. It looks like a battle back here just outside around that 11th position. Man, you want to talk about a hornet's nest, Ellis. This is it.
I need an Advil after watching this. This is getting stressful. David Moyer looks to be dealing with an ill-handling race car in that 47, but he's the Pied Piper that everyone's chasing right now for 10th position. That's the 01 of Stephen Gill and the 9 of Reggie Kime battling right behind them, 2 wide as they sail it down into turn number 3.
It is 2 by 2 by 2 here just outside of the top 10. A good run on the bottom, but he's going to get loose there. Man, that is not how you want to go.
Yeah,
Stephen Gill just a little too loose.
And we've seen that, Logan, over the course of the evening. That wiggle in the 01 is something that has become a common sight as the tires have begun to wear here under the lights at Iowa. Lap number 58 of 150. Several cars starting to struggle with their handling, but up front, Christian Barnes is not one of those cars. We've got a battle for the lead as they sail down the backstretch. Contact between leaders down the back straightaway. Barnes on the inside, the 71 of Janik to the outside. This is the first time Janik has been challenged, but we'll have to wait as the caution is on the racetrack for Derek Jewett in the number 45, who is spun down the back straightaway. We're going to return to the scene of the crime with instant replay and see if we can't figure out what happened to that 45.
Back here coming across the front stretch, you see it's nearly 3 wide at points coming across down into turn 1. The 45 of Jewett up on the top line of that newly paved surface. The 01 of Stephen Gill, big checkup. And then extra help from Brad Nelson. Once again, Nelson and Jewett getting wrapped up together.
Logan, this is exactly what we were warning about. You specifically mentioned these restarts get hairy. They get intense, and we just saw a stack up that resulted in the 4th caution of the evening. A couple drivers making fakes down pit road, but I don't think we're going to see the top 6 or 7 come down. It's going to be Adam Holston, I believe, in that number 8, who's going to be the first car to make that trip down pit road. It looks like he's going to bring the number 12. Actually, might be the 78 of Caleb Hunt is going to play tag along with him down pit road. Those are one of maybe 5 cars to make that trip down pit road. You mentioned it earlier in pre-race, Logan. 6 sets of tires. If I'm looking at these numbers correctly, Holston's only pit once before, so this might be his second of 6 sets. What do you make of this strategy to come and get tires here on lap 61 of 150?
I like it. If we get a green flag run to the end of this stage, that's a big bonus for him. Now, we haven't had a whole lot of green flag racing since the new stage started. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult than if we just had this caution for the first time this stage, but it's still going to help immensely here.
He's looking for as much help as he can get. These drivers may be starting to sense the sun is going down, which means the laps are clicking away, and that checkered flag is inching closer and closer and closer. With that being said, we've got just a couple ad breaks left. If you're tuning in, we promise we'll be back in less than 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. We're going to hear from our partners at Whiplash SimCams. We'll be back in a jiff, folks. Back here as the sun sets in Newton, Iowa, race number 21 of Mystic Racing League Fall Creek Plumbing Series. We're getting close and closer to the checkered flag. I'm Ellis Thomas here, joined in the booth by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp. It's been an exciting evening so far. That excitement is not scheduled to go down at all. If anything, the intensity is picking up, and that happened right before we saw that caution. Christian Barnes made a daring move to the inside to take the lead away just as the caution flag flew, and that's going to put him as the restart leader here. He's going to have the choice of when he mashes that go pedal in that restart zone. We've seen that be a major advantage for every single person, really only Evan Janik, who's led tonight. He's led a majority of laps, but we're not going to have to wait long to find out if Barnes is able to make the most of that leader position as he waits for that restart zone. He's in it. Bit of a brake check there. All's fair, though. That 27 gets away, but boy, Evan Janik in trouble on the outside. Not where he wants to be. Causes a stack up that goes all the way back through about 15th position, but he's got it gathered back up. Cars work their way down the back straightaway now, down into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it sure looked like Janik had some issues getting that car into third gear on that restart. stacked up quite a bit, and the big stack up on the bottom initially as that go pedal was being smashed to the floor. But Christian Barnes able to get away from it cleanly, and I think that's the most important part here. That confirms our theory on leader control being oh so important.
One car high on the track. That's Brandon Willard in the number 12. 3 wide, Willard in the wall. Can he save it? He does. We avert crisis. For now, at least, as Willard, big trouble on the front straightaway. Maybe got a little bit of help in that left rear corner, Logan, but all drivers going to live to fight another day. The battle right now is between Gavin Henson and Aaron Espy. That's a battle for the 8th position, I should say 7th position. Henson gets the better of it, and this is a driver that we've seen have speed. I would say seen him have winning speed a couple times this season in that number 39. Right now, he is making hay up to the 7th position after starting 11th. He's one of the biggest movers of the race outside of Jacob Cochran and Gino Volante, who slid his way into the 9th position. But that's 39 is looking pretty good right now.
That he is. 7th place is a great place to be. You still have one more stage break to go through, and then a whole heap of racing left. It'll be just after the halfway mark that we see the yellow flag come out to bring these cars in one more time for some extra bonus points. So it's tough. It's a situation that you don't necessarily want to be in just outside of the top 5. But if he can keep up the pace that he's shown so far this race, he might have a chance to catch up to the 69 of Andrew Schob.
Working his way to the back bumper of David Moyer, who, after struggling a little bit earlier on in this race and dropping back, has reclaimed the 6th position. We watch Henson get into the wall down the back straightaway. Moyer doing a solid job right now after a mishap early on. How difficult is it, Logan, to recover from an early race incident and get locked back in from behind that wheel?
It's tough. You're thinking about it for the next couple of laps. But as soon as you get off of pit road, if you choose to come down, you have to completely erase that memory. It is a new race from that lap forward, and you have to focus on what's in the windshield and not what's in the rearview mirror.
Well, right now, it's neither for Gavin Henson and David Moyer because they're side by side. Moyer inches ahead down into turn 1, but the door remains open for Gavin Henson in that 39 on the inside. Henson looks to have a better run off the corner, at least for the moment. The 47 carries the momentum down into turn number 3, but he's out of the groove. That new pavement that we mentioned, you don't want to be out of it. And right there, David Moyer was about a car width out of the groove, maybe even up into the marbles, and it's going to cost him that spot there, not too far behind them. Christopher Benning in that number 64. You see him climbing the track right now. That car has gotten a new life breathed into it here on lap number 72 of 150 for the second half. That 64 looks really good. What's happened? Maybe he's messing with the brake bias dial a little bit.
That 64 is one of our few drivers that brought it down pit road last time. 36 seconds spent in the box, so that was a little bit of damage repair plus some fresh tires. But we've got trouble on the front stretch. It's Reggie Kime completely sideways and slow in the middle of the track. He's going to get loose again. We might see a yellow right now.
Leaders approaching down into turn 1. Can he get it going right now? Caution is not out. He's got to do something because these drivers flying by at 150 miles an hour, not sure what just happened. Normally, iRacing might throw a caution. We had to wait for our race controller to throw a caution. We're going to see what happened to that number 9 that put us under caution for the 4th time this evening.
So he's here in the mix of a couple other drivers, but it'll be coming around out of turn number 4. I wonder if it was with assistance or if the track is just starting to get a little bit loose. The temperature has come up just 1 degree, but it is fluctuating out there on the race surface. And it looks like a little bit loose on the top line, comes back down across the nose. So that's going to be exactly what happens there. I believe that was the 78 of Caleb Hunt.
Yeah, so we've seen maybe the track getting a little bit more difficult for drivers. We saw the leader, second place, Evan Janik, struggle on a restart. And the question is, are we going to see these drivers take the opportunity to come and get tires? Alex Pollock in that 92 thought about it. Doesn't hit the commit cone, but comes close. He's going to make that right-hand turn back onto the track with a lap car coming by to get their lap back. I believe that's actually Reggie Kime, the most recent bringer-outer of the caution, so to speak. And I'm just wondering, we look at someone like the 64 of Christopher Benning. It slipped back to 8th position. He had taken tires. If you're bidding in the 64, do you like that caution, or is this more of a detriment to your overall strategy with especially no one else coming in that time by?
It depends on the call from race control. If this is now your stage break, considering how close we are to lap 80, then that, it doesn't hurt or help Christopher Benning. He's going to be able to come down with the field. I would assume he would go ahead and freshen up on the tires with everybody else and stay on the same strategy, or at least try to, and hope for a green flag run. But I don't know. There's a lot that could happen right now for the 64. But he was on a tear.
He was on a tear, one of the fastest cars on the track in that number 64 for Christopher Benning. Right now, at least 2 to go is going to put us on a restart on coming to lap 80. We've seen 1 and 2 lap dashes here before, but I suspect this might be the stage caution that we were waiting for. We're going to wait for confirmation of that. If we got Alex Pollock or someone in the chat who's in this race, Joshua Gillen. Yeah, I know Josh is watching. If you can type real quick, let us know. A yes is a stage caution, a no is no. We're going to restart this thing before the stage ends. A couple comments in the chat right now. We got AJ Hale. He loves making paint schemes for iRacing. Yeah. Oh, no. So this is not going to be the stage caution. We're going to get a restart, and I'm imagining that restart is going to be a green-white checkered for the stage. It extends the race a little bit, but you like to see the race director choose to give these guys the opportunity to race for those stage points. Right now, they're going to be racing to the choose rule. 27, Christian Barnes sticks with the inside. Jacob Cochran, we saw him strong on the outside line that last restart. Logan, watch out for that number 84, but he's got to have Pollock and Janik on row 2, not far behind him.
So to recap on your question about the 64 of Christopher Benning, this helps. This restacks everybody in front of you, and you have a 23 lap advantage on the tires. Watch the 64 on this restart, because he is going to the front.
64 is going to be the man on the move. We're not going to wait long to find out. Just about a third of a lap away from the restart. 2 laps to go in stage number 2 before we begin the final stage tonight here at Iowa. Drivers going to amp up the intensity. No letting off at this point. This is for stage points. This is for playoff points. The 27 of Barnes waits for that restart zone. He goes right in the middle of it. We're green flag racing once again. Barnes off to the races. It's a battle between Cochran and Pollock, though. Pollock, that 92 on the inside. Cochran sets sail, climbs the banking on the outside. He might even have a run on the lead. Cochran to the outside, a little bit of the wall. Into the wall. Cochran, leader, crashes here on lap number 79. This is going to put us under the stage caution. Big turn of events as debris flies across the speedway. Christian Barnes is going to have the quick repair, but he cannot be happy right now. We're going to watch the replay closely, see if we can't figure out what happened, Logan.
It just looked like a big, big sin coming around the outside there. That 84 had a whole lot of speed, but that wall comes up quickly. And surprisingly enough, typically you see that car make contact with the safer barrier and get sucked into it, but he just bounced right off.
Bounced right off. That's going to be Christian Barnes and Jacob Cochran. We saw that as a result of that move for the lead Cochran made on the outside. It's going to send both of those cars further back in the field. Cochran got the better end of that. He's going to be slotted in the 4th position, but Christian Barnes is going to be making his way down pit road. I would imagine he's going to have to use that quick repair, but hey, for the first time this season, if they call it like we believe, that's going to be the stage stage. Alex Pollock going to pick up the stage win. That's going to be magic for his position in the points and maybe kind of inching him closer to a playoff berth. Evan Janet going to be second. Gavin Hinton had worked his way up to third before all that mayhem broke loose. With Jacob Cochran, we saw him slide back to fourth, involved in that most recent incident. And then Andrew Schob in the fifth position. Boy, I would imagine that Christian Barnes is going to have to do exactly what we were talking about earlier, Logan. But right now, attention's on the pit crews as these drivers work their way around. We're going to see if Benning's going to make his way down pit road. I think he is going to, but everyone knows. Actually, no, he's not going to. Every car in the field on the lead lap, for the most part, is going to make their way to the attention of their pit crews. They got to be careful not to slide them. What's this going to do for these drivers' confidence on these fresh tires heading to the second half of the race, Logan?
It'll help, but we are going to see some fresh faces up at the front of the field, I believe. You know, Christian Barnes, he's got a lot ahead of him to really start to make up. So another driver here, I do want to bring attention to the 64 of Christopher Benning. You know, we just talked about him coming to that restart, having the tire advantage as almost a close battle here off of pit road. Janik's going to get the advantage over Alex Pollock. But anyways, Christopher Benning, he got wrapped up in that last caution as well as he made that last big hit. And, you know, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to have to claim the broadcaster's curse for that.
Yeah, broadcaster's curse strikes once again. And we're seeing Christopher Benning right now dropping to the back. Has received an EOL from race control. Not sure what is happening there. Maybe our resident in-race reporter Joshua Gillen has insights on that, might have the opportunity or caution to let us know. But we talked about maybe a big advantage for Christopher Benning has turned into quite the opposite right now. Still trying to get word on maybe what happened to Benning to give him that EOL.
I've got you covered, Ellis. So with that contact, that forced Benning to use his fast repair. So he was not going to be able to bring that car back around under the yellow flag. That is a EOL on Benning for coming down pit road on a closed pit entrance.
Okay. So he's got his work cut out for him. Christian Barnes has his work cut out for them. Right now, working the stage 2 caution. It's going to bring us into the final stage. Watching Stephen Gill, Joshua Gillen, Adam Holson lead. They didn't come down pit road. That is your top 3. We mentioned it. Some faces that had been running a little bit further back are going to see the front for the first time tonight. They just took the choose rule, the 01 of Gill to the inside. We saw Gill struggle with the handling, bring out a caution for the first time tonight. They're going to be looking to recover, and recover he has right now. That 01 is P1 with Joshua Gillen to his outside. I believe that's correct. Or is Gillen? I think Stephen Gill is going to be scored as the leader. If you are watching at home, and join us in the YouTube chat, whether you're on your phone or your computer, pull up that chat, say hi, let us know what driver you are rooting for. And certainly if you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and hit it right now. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us immensely. And we are grateful for every single person who's watching, even if you haven't subscribed. But we do find that a lot of people haven't hit that subscribe button right now. We're getting ready to hit the go button. Stephen Gill, he's going to bring out the green flag for the 5th time tonight. Gill gets it going. Gillen to his outside. The field a little bit slow as they head down into turn 1 with Holston breathing down the neck of that 01 of Gill. Evan Janik trying to reclaim from the outside, the lead from the outside. Holston slides into Joshua Gillen, but Gillen doesn't even notice as he climbs the banking to try to take the lead on the outside for the first time tonight.
But way out of the groove goes that 10. He's getting way sideways.
Gavin Hinston down front straightaway. He's going to hit hard, but I think we're still going to be under green. We'll see if Hinson's able to recover. Right now, he gathers it back up, but that left side of the car is pancaked. Racers or leaders continue to race on. Adam Holston is your leader. Gill gets loose off of turn number 4. It's going to open the door for Gillen on the outside. Lots of action happening all the way around the track right now on lap number 87. Drivers trying to recover there. Gill tries to reclaim the 2nd position from Gillen, but can't do it.
And Holston coming up quick right now on Reggie Kime. Kime did find his way down to the apron, had issues down in 1 and 2. And I thought that was going to be another situation where the leaders caught up to a car that couldn't find its way off the middle of the track there. Kime now brings it down pit road. Not too sure what's happened to that car. The handling on it just not quite there for the number 9 team.
9 struggling tonight, but several drivers are not struggling. One of those is Evan Janik, situated back in the 5th position right now. Janik trying to get back up to the lead after losing it on a bit of pit strategy, and the way the cautions fell tonight, not going to let that deter him. He slots back comfortably into the 5th position, but he does have Andrew Shobe. He's been a relatively fast number 69, not too far behind, lurking in the wait. One car comes down pit road once again, or at least saw a little bit of smoke. I've seen that a couple times tonight. Smoke out of turn 3. Not sure if they're shooting off fireworks or what, but Shobe trying to get back up to the 6th position. Multiple cars, multiple lines out here tonight. You can see several cars working the outside while other cars are working the inside, and we're going to see what's going to pay off as we move through the evening. One car high, that's Stephen Gill in turns 3 and 4 as drivers work their way down the front straightaway on lap number 90.
And that high line way out of the groove. It does not work. As you see, he has lost 5 positions in that 01. A slight tire disadvantage, but he's dropping like a rock right now using that high line.
That 01 continues to drop through the running order. Stephen Gill, after starting up front, back to the 8th position, just trying to hold on to it. Cochran side by side. There's contact between 8th and 9th position. Jacob Cochran to the 84, locked in the playoffs with a win earlier this season, chasing down another one tonight, but he's got his work cut out for him as he slides in front of that 01 to take over the 8th position. Cochran has not been a full-time driver this season, but just to run you through some of the stats, it's been an excellent stretch, particularly in the past month and a half or so. Just working our way back 6 weeks ago, Gateway finished 2nd. The next race, he finished at Milwaukee. He won. He finished 2nd at Nashville Super Speedway. Had a bit of an off week at Indy last week, but 3 wins on the season for Jacob Cochran has vaulted him into a major contender for the championship here as we just have 6 races remaining in the regular season. That's going to be a driver we're keeping our eye on right now as David Moyer tries to lay in wait for any mistake Cochran might make as they work their way around the corner, down the back stretch now.
And that's a great thing here about Iowa. It is a wide track, so expect to see some of these drivers use that bump and run technique that became so famous in NASCAR. I would say expect it here in the late runnings of the race. But one great thing, too, is we still have one more pit stop to make, hopefully under green flag conditions. Remember, Ellis, our time frame on the fuel, 55 to 60 laps.
And right now, these drivers are about 32 laps away from that window, but there's 55 laps remaining. So you're right, Logan. We are going to potentially have a green flag pit stop in our sights. Right now, you're watching Josh Gillen. There was a little bit of bumping, but no running there. Just about a lap and a half ago, Gillen got the wall down the front straightaway. He gathered it back up, but he's since lost a couple of positions right now, back to the 5th position. He's got Aaron Espy, who's climbed his way into the 4th position after a disaster to bring out first caution this race. There goes Gillen in the wall again, maybe struggling on those slightly older tires right now, Logan, in a field with drivers who are on 6, 7, 8 lap fresher tires.
And it doesn't seem like much on paper, but those 6 or 7 laps can be, at the end of a tire run, we're talking about 2 to 3 tenths of a second difference.
And it doesn't take long for all that to build up into a massive advantage or a massive loss. Right now, working lap number 98 of 150, getting ready to work our way into the final third of this race at Iowa. It has been a banger so far. Adam Holston scored as your leader. Alex Pollock in 2nd in that number 92. Andrew Shobe 3rd. Aaron Espy, as we just mentioned, 4th, with Evan Janik situated in the 5th position. But I think we've seen the least of the drama so far, Logan. I think there is a lot to come, so hopefully fans stick around for the rest of the race. If you're tuned in on YouTube right now, say hi in the chat. Just let us know you're here. Maybe get the chat going a little bit. We're giving away a Ryan Blaney diecast tonight to one lucky fan at home who is one of our most active chatters. All you got to do is keep the conversation going there in the chat. Pull it up on your phone, pull it up on your computer, react to what you're seeing on the track, shout out your favorite driver. One of you is going to get this Ryan Blaney diecast at the end of the night. Send your friends over as well and let them know to let us know that you sent them, and that might earn you a few extra points as well. Try to pack out the chat as much as we can tonight. Right now, the pack is separated just a little bit. Alex Pollock has about Adam Holston has about an 8-car length lead over Alex Pollock, but Pollock has got Shobe picking up a little bit of time on him through these corners. That distance has gone from about 8 car lengths down to about 5 to 6 car lengths in the last lap or so. That is a battle for the second position. That 69 has been one of the fastest cars in practice and this race. Look and see if he can't get his first win of the season, Logan. What does that mean? How does that hunger? Oh, one car!
Oh, down the track.
Head on into the wall, down the back straightaway. That 39 is a heap of sheet metal. He's going to have to drive it back around. Not sure if he's going to have the speed or the engine that makes it, but let's see if we can't figure out what happened to that loose number 39 off of turn number 2.
Back here out of turn 2. Might have been a little bit of help, but man, you can just see right there the worst part of the backstretch wall where it juts back towards the track. That is about as flush of a hit as you can get. That is a big one for the 39 team. I don't believe he has used that fast repair just yet, so this will be it for Gavin Henson. Try to get back on the track. He's going to be 3 laps down now, but a couple cautions can come around and see him right back in the battle for a top 10 position.
That quick repair does make all the difference right now, and we were kind of mentioning Andrew Shobe hungry for a win. Does that make, do you think those drivers have an advantage over the drivers who have one, as we watch Alex Pollock, another winless driver, in second, going to lose that spot to Andrew Shobe? Both of those drivers looking for wins. Do you think that's any advantage over a driver who's already got a win?
It's a little bit of an advantage, but not too much. You know, a driver that's got a win is already locked into the playoffs. They're just here for the bonus points. So obviously it helps out to finish ahead of them, but ultimately it's going to come down to who can make that top 12.
And several drivers on the cusp without a win, trying to race their way into the playoff. Shobe and Pollock, along with Aaron Espy in this pack, are some of those cars. That's the number 71 of Evan Janik, 4th in line in that pack. He's sitting 5th on track right now, but they're all chasing down Andrew Shobe, who's in that second position. I mentioned it earlier. This track, while it has been widened, there is still a fight for space on the inside, as we've seen that really be the place you want to be much of the evening. It's the safest place to be as we watch the 71 of Janik take over that spot. Is going to cross over maybe from Aaron Espy here. That battle for the 4th position. Espy not willing to let it go as they head down into turn number 1. Espy on the inside, Evan Janik on the outside. Can Evan Janik carry the momentum down the backstretch? The answer is yes, as they set sail down into turn number 3.
That was a perfect execution there from Evan Janik to display how to run the top line if you're forced to be there. But Aaron Espy's going to charge back around in 3 and 4 using the bottom. Janik gets the wall just a touch out of turn number 4. So that's all she wrote there.
Janik, Aaron Espy makes that pass, pulls away a little bit, gaps the 71. That 71 might be struggling with handling as he drives it down the track. As soon as I say that, though, he looks to pick up about 2 to 3 car lengths as he's going to try to make the pass down into turn 1. He's going to have to wait at least a little bit longer, but this is an interesting line that 71 is running right now, Logan. My concern on top of the pit box, it'll never happen because I'm terrible at the crew chief role, but is that car going to use a little bit more rear tire with that kind of late entry into the corner and dive down on exit?
I would say not so much on the rear, but on the right front. You know, your exit is where you're going to see most of your tire wear on the rear axle, but that entry, just how hard you dive into the corner, how hard you get on the brakes, depending on what your brake bias is set at, it can really put, you know, about 60% of the weight of the car as Janik barely slots up ahead of Aaron Espy right back to that third place position. That was just about as close as you can get. But yeah, you really have to watch the right front at a track like Iowa.
And you see how close the racing is right now on lap number 112, just 39, almost 38 laps remaining. We're entering into the money window, the payout window, just 10, 15, 20 minutes away. One car into the wall, Evan Janik. Aaron Espy's going to seize that opportunity. He's going to bring Jacob Cochran with him maybe as these cars roll their way through turns 1 and 2. This has been a tight battle that's been brewing and not dying.
Oh!
Janik gets into Espy. Espy sideways, keeps it out of the wall. We are going to see a caution for the 7th time tonight here at Iowa. A bit of a quick call by the race director, but after what we saw a couple cautions ago with that number 9, I can't blame them at all, thinking that might turn into something bigger.
Well, let's talk about that save, though. I cannot get past that. That car was completely sideways. Look at the contact. It is nearly 90 degrees perpendicular with the track. And he brought it back around and kept it off the wall.
Absolutely unbelievable job by Aaron Espy there. But this is going to bring us to the final pit stop. No green flag pit stops tonight, Logan. This is the money stop for drivers like Adam Holston, Andrew Schob, the 71 of Janik as they make their way down pit road for the final time tonight, potentially. Everything is going to be riding on this pit stop. Holston's obviously got the advantage here, but we've seen Evan Janik pick up a couple of spots on pit road, maybe looking to do that here. We're going to keep a close eye on these drivers. Hopefully no one slid through their pit stalls. You mentioned it earlier, Logan, very easy to do, but the Jacks raise the right side of the car up, and then sequentially, the left side of the car will go up, and then they'll drop. Holston's going to win the race off pit road, but Andrew Schob's going to take over second. Cochran almost gets the third position there from Evan Janik, but a little bit of a slow stop by Janik here. Joe makes it out second. Janik going to be third. Cochran will be fourth. And don't count out any of these cars. Issue for Evan Janik coming down the back straightaway. Not sure what's going on with that 71 car right now. He's slow to the inside, maybe making some adjustments inside that car, or maybe having some technical issues. We're going to try to find out what's going on with driver 71 struggling down the apron in turn 3 and 4. That could be a major storyline. He looks to have gotten it back up to speed right now, but he's going to bring it down pit road potentially once again. No, I take that back. He's not. He made me think he was. What do you think's going on with the 71 right now?
Well, that last caution was brought out by contact between the 71 and the 16, with the 71 getting into that right rear quarter panel. So I'm going to say this is most likely a voluntary EOL from the 71 of Janik.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably a good call. I think there are some rules. If you don't take the voluntary EOL, the penalty after the race could be a lot worse. So big storyline emerging there. Evan Janik, pole sitter, one of the fastest cars of the night, going to be restarting this race outside of the top 10. In fact, he'll be starting from the 15th position. We've seen him do it before. We've seen him climb the way through the field in the late goings of the race, but he's only got about 34 laps to do it if he's going to do it. Drivers take the choose rule at the line right now. Holston, no surprise there, takes the inside with Andrew Schob working his way to the outside. Inside of row number 2 is going to be Jacob Cochran. We've seen him have some contact a little bit earlier in this race. He recovered a lot better from it so far than Derek. I believe that was Jewett he had contact with, or was it someone else? I think that was the number 45.
Yeah, we had 2 incidents with
it was Christian
Jewett,
Barnes.
so.
Yeah, Christian Barnes and Jacob Cochran, I should say. had a bit of an altercation earlier. Barnes back in the 8th position. That's going to be something to watch as well. He's had speed all night long. But right now, our eyes are on Adam Holston in that number 8. He's the restart leader as he enters the restart zone. It's his choice when to go. He says go. Cochran with a whale of a restart. Shobe as well. This is going to be a 3-way battle for the lead as they head down into turn number 1. Cochran works the inside of the second row with Shobe to his outside. Battle is on for second as they head down the back straightaway.
Still side by side into turn 3. Cochran with the advantage. Shobe loose on entry, shoots it way up the track. Still trying to recover. He loses 2 positions off of that, and looks like a lot more drivers maybe having some issues or dodging something that I couldn't quite see. Oh, sideways!
Turns in the wall. It's going to bring out the 8th caution of the evening. We had just been talking about how Barnes had trouble earlier with Jacob Cochran. He got a little bit out of the groove there into the marbles. Logan, it was a danger zone, so to speak, that we've talked about multiple times starting in our pre-race. And once again, it claims another victim as we watch the replay.
That it does. Back here, you see everybody scrambling. The 78 with a little bit of a wiggle. You had a car on the bottom react to it, and that just, it didn't give Barnes anywhere to go. He had to enter that corner on the top line, but ultimately that really hurts the 2017. He's already used that fast repair tonight as well. That's a lot of damage backing a car into the wall like that.
Well, one car that had some trouble earlier, we were talking about it right before that restart. The car that dropped back, we maybe thought it was a voluntary EOL for being involved in that 7th caution of the evening right before. However, we found out he was speeding on pit road, maybe just trying to get every ounce of speed and time out of that pit window or pit trip as he could. And he paid the price for it. That driver, the 71 of Evan Janik, he's climbed his way up to 13th, but costly mistake that we don't see Janik hardly ever make. You know, several wins on the season. He is our points leader, but certainly one of the mistakes that are few and far between for driver 71 as we watch him work this caution.
And speaking of mistakes, not so much of a mistake, but maybe a hardware malfunction. I don't know if you caught it there, Ellis. The 92 of Alex Pollock, he's now 4 laps down. He disconnected for a while, but he's made it back into the race. You know, heart rate monitor up there in the top right corner. It's about as fast as we've seen it all race. 122 beats per minute. There's a lot going on in the mind of that 92.
Every sim driver's nightmare, a hardware failure, a monitor turning off, a wheel having issues, brake pedals coming disconnected. Something happened technically to that number 92. Thank goodness that heart rate monitor is still working, though, because we are seeing just how stressful of a situation as it has been for Alex Pollock. Ran as high as 2nd place, won stage number 1, I should say. He's had speed all tonight, but he's going to have his work cut out for him, having to come from 18th position as we work the 8th caution of the evening. Brought out by a spin. Fortunately, we got it under control and no other cars were involved. But Adam Holston scored currently as your leader. If you're Adam Holston, are you liking the string of yellow flags that we've seen here the second half of this race, Logan? Is that good for the 8 car to not have to contend with these long runs maybe?
Absolutely. The more that you can save your tires, the better. And the 8, you know, it's been proven. Every single restart this race has been under control entirely for the leader to just get away from the rest of the field. So if you can get this race closer and closer to the end, that's your best case scenario. For your Adam Holston right now, he's shown the speed. He can take control of the restart with ease. This is looking pretty good here for the 8 machine.
Oh, one car. I just heard some one car. What car is that? Adam Holston. Big trouble. The leader off on the front straightaway. Not sure what's happened. Am I imagining that? Or did we just have issues for the leader? Major story emerging here. What in the world just happened to the 08 of Adam Holston?
If I heard correctly over the race comms, I think his monitor froze on him. So yeah, there's the he makes the dive down for the choose. I'd say right about here is when that monitor goes off, and that's your safest bet, is just to turn left, get out of the way of everybody else. Unfortunately, Iowa, we've got that outer pit wall barrier, and the car meets its makers. The green flag drops under control of the 84. Jacob Cochran now away on the top side. David Moyer and Aaron Espy both laying in wait to catch back up as they're going to battle it out side by side through 1 and 2 and a drag race down the back stretch.
A drag race indeed down the backstretch. In fact, it's a Cessna taking flight. That's the 47 of David Moyer, loses that battle for second. But right in front of him, Aaron Espy, who brought out the first caution of the evening, has recovered quite nicely. He's looking to go from last to first, trying to work his way by Jacob Cochran, and time is of the essence. One car, the 11 in the wall. Douglas Wisaki, that was also another car in the wall, maybe the 35 of Gino Volanti. It's going to put us under caution for the 9th time tonight. And again, we're going to have to return to our instant replay to see if we can't figure out what brought this out. And boy, another caution.
All I know is Gino Volanti was completely backwards and still taking the corner, the correct angle. Look at this. He held that bottom line there on the entry. Kept it off the wall, too.
Then turned it around and did a 180 Blues Brothers style down through turns 1 and 2. Regardless of the skill, he just showed off going backwards. That's still caution number 9, and laps are ticking away. Just 25 laps remaining. If you're the race controller here, you're starting to get a little frustrated with these drivers. We've, I think, maybe raced about less than 10 laps of green flag racing in the last 50 due to the spate of cautions we've had. If you're a driver who's looking to make their way up, this is not what you want to see. If you're someone like Evan Janik, you're up to 9th, but with these cautions, that's just laps that you're losing to past cars. Many drivers looking for probably a long green flag run here to finish this thing out, Logan.
That would be ideal. As a race controller, yes, it is very frustrating. At times, you consider making the field line up in single file to eliminate that potential stack up down into turn 1. But I think that we're going to keep it right here. We're going to stay with the double file setup. But then to flip it to being a driver, yes, if you're really good at the restarts and you can jump a couple positions right off the rip, then this is good for you. However, if you're not the best at that, or the drivers ahead of you don't get the jump that you need, it's very frustrating. I can tell you that from firsthand experience.
So maybe different temperaments inside these cockpits right now, but certainly the temperament of the 84 of Jacob Cochran is good, as he is scored as your leader. He's loving these cautions as long as he is not part of them. Drivers not taking the choose rule right now. I'm curious if we might be able to grab a word with one of these drivers here. Let's see, who should we take? Maybe Janik. We haven't heard from Janik tonight. Let's see if we can get him in.
Janik would be a good one.
Evan Janik. This is Ellis and Logan in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, man, quick word. It has been an up and down evening for you. We saw you speeding on pit road just a few cautions ago. What do you got to do to get back up from 9th position to the lead? Does that car have the speed in it tonight?
I think so. Green flag laps would help, and also the guys up front racing each other hard. If they race each other hard and don't get strung out, then I think I still got a chance to at least get podium.
You looking potentially to gain some spots on this restart? How easy is that to do? We've been watching that move all night long.
Depends. Depends on the run. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, have been missing shifts for whatever reason today. So it all depends on everybody else's start, and just try to stay out of the mess.
All right, man. Well, good luck. See you taking that choose rule right now. We'll send you back over to 5-Star Racing, correct?
Yep.
All right. Good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, so you heard from Adam Holson-Meyer back in the 9th position. Going to be looking to pick up a couple spots on this restart. For that choose rule, Jacob Cochran chose the outside, while Aaron Espy elected to go inside. David Moyer on the inside of row 2, followed by Andrew Schob in that 69 as they work their way down the back straightaway, just a half a lap remaining. Looking to see if we can't get a long green flag run in. If you've been joining us, much of the first half of the race was clean and green, but the intensity has picked up as the laps have clicked away. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp in the Slingshot booth, getting ready to bring you the last 20 laps of this race here, race number 21 at Iowa Speedway for Mystic Racing League. Pace cars gonna peel off. It's on Jacob Cochran to mash that throttle in the restart zone. We get going once again at Iowa. Cochran, great restart. Aaron Espy's gonna have to deal with David Moyer as they set sail down into turn number 1. Moyer to the inside of Shobe. One car a little bit loose. That 16's got some rotation off the corner. Meanwhile, the battle for third settles down maybe for a moment until the number 47 of Moyer drives it to the inside. Now we're single fire for the top 4 on the front straightaway, Logan. Oh, big fight for the lead, the 69. One car loose. That's the 71 of Janik. A caution is out. I think the race control might have been a little bit trigger happy there with the yellow unless we had another incident on track. We've seen what seemingly would have been small incidents.
Oh, no.
Pile up, and there it is right now. There's what we were afraid of. Christopher Benning, Logan, the 64. What in the world just happened?
That was contact. I didn't quite catch the number on that car, but I'm thinking it might have been maybe the 12 of Brandon Willard. So you got the one loose there. That's Evan Janik on the bottom off of that restart. So that's why we had the caution.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might have been a little payback from what Benning did on the front straightaway.
Yeah,
if you go back about half a lap before.
We might have to go back a little bit further here to see where this really came from. But yeah, you see it there. 64 up into the wall, a little bit of contact, 71 completely sideways. And yeah, I think
folks,
you're right.
Big development. Evan Janik has been disqualified from this race due to unsportsmanlike conduct. That 71 Janik, your points leader, is out of the race. One of the fastest cars on the track all night. The pole sitter, Janik, has been disqualified based on the input we're getting as we kind of watch why. And from a driver's standpoint, you kind of understand, but from a competitive director standpoint, you can't be doing that out on the track.
Yeah, that's pretty blatant there. I hate to see that for both drivers. Janik eliminating himself from contention tonight after such a strong run and still had a chance. Like he said, he felt confident getting back to the podium. And then that's just extra damage. Christopher Benning's already been mixed up a couple times tonight. He's used that fast repair, that left rear damage rather. And I think he even backed it into the wall after that just a touch. So aero damage now going to be a big factor for the 64.
That 64 has been fast, but you mentioned some damage just a moment ago. I'm looking to see how confident were you feeling in bringing in Christopher Benning and see if we can't get his viewpoint on what happened there.
I mean, we might as well. We've got beef on the track. We might as well figure out why.
Let's do it. Hey, Christopher Benning, this is Ellison Logan up in the Slingshot booth. You caught a copy, driver 64.
What's up?
Man, just curious about what actually happened from your perspective out there on the racetrack. It looked like maybe some incidental contact on your part with the 71 on the front straightaway.
Oh yeah, he wants the brake check going off into the corner and then fucking come back and wreck me because he almost spins himself. He saved himself and then wrecks us, and then, yeah, you know.
Well, you live to tell the tale. How's that car going to be handling on this restart?
Oh, who fucking knows?
All right, man. Well, good luck out there. Heat of the moment. Maybe you can walk away with the top 10. Can I move you back to which chat? Race 1. All right, so we knew we were taking a chance there, and that is kind of what you get when you talk to a driver who's just been involved in an incident that probably was unintentional the first time around, but the driver behind him took exception. Like we said earlier, you gotta understand the frustration there from a driver's perspective, but also you got to look at what it's hard to do those ball and strike calls out there on the track right now. But you heard the frustration in Christopher Benning's voice. Still got about 16 laps left on this restart. So I don't think we've seen the end of tempers and frustrations out on the racetrack, Logan. Are you in agreement with that?
I would definitely have to say so. For a second there, I forgot that we were in Iowa. I thought we had made our way to Bowman Gray Stadium.
The Madhouse, definitely, it was giving off Madhouse vibes here, as the kids say. Right now, the vibe is going to be the choose rule, as drivers, I believe, are going to get the one to go this time around. Jacob Cochran, your leader, is going to choose the inside. Shoba likes to go to the outside. Espy and that number 16 darts to the left to take that inside line of the restart with David Moyer on the outside of row number 2. Folks, if you're just joining us at home, you've probably gotten a sense of the intensity of this race number 21 here at Iowa Speedway for the Mystic Racing League Fall Creek Plumbing Series, getting gridded up for a restart that's going to see a 14-lap Saturday night style shootout. And we've had some fireworks here so far tonight. I don't think we're done seeing that. So if you're watching right now, make sure you stick around. Send your friends over. Enjoy the last little bit of this race. Make sure to hit that subscribe button right underneath the video if you haven't already done so. I promise you, it doesn't cost you anything. Absolutely free. Right now, the win's not going to be free. Drivers going to be looking for every cent they can get on this restart. Cochran and Shobe side by side. Cochran mashes that throttle halfway through the zone. We're underway once again here for race number 21. Looking to see the checkers here. No yellows, no yellows, no yellows. That's what we're thinking here up in the booth. Drivers might have other ideas, though. It's Cochran, Espy, and Shobe down the back straightaway. Shobe tries to make a move on Espy down into turn number 3. Contact! Moyer and Shobe. Shobe sideways. Cars jam up. We're going to be under caution for the 10th time tonight, everybody. It was inevitable. We've heard AJ in the chat, Logan, saying these cautions feel inevitable. We just got another one. Drivers have lost their minds tonight, I think. This is the most cautions we've seen for an MRL race. It feels like in a couple of months, but the lights have brought out the tempers and the intensity.
Yeah, we've got 11 on the board, 9 of those being a natural caution tonight. It's very interesting to see. You know, Iowa, in my experience, has always put on some long green flag runs, but here you see it on that slingshot instant replay. It was the wreck that just kept building more and more. We had one car involved, get sideways, nearly saves it, a little extra contact will send him around completely, and then it's just more piling in as that yellow flag. It came out a little bit later than expected for some of these drivers. There's a big hit there.
Brad Nelson almost made it through it, but he got hooked there by the 69 of Shobe right at the last minute. Nelson had a decent run going before that. And this, Logan, it's turning into a race of attrition. Ricky LaFleur in the chat says, let's go Shobe and Holston. Don't tell them what just happened to Shobe or Holston. Ricky, it's been a rough night for both of those drivers, especially just a moment ago. Andrew Shobe, but we appreciate you tuning in tonight regardless. This is going to be, man, this is going to be about an 8-lap shootout. It feels like a race of attrition. I almost don't want to be up at the front because that's where a lot of the action has happened tonight, it feels like.
Yeah, it's been right around that 5th place position or so. It seems like is where a lot of the contact has been made. It's not been the top 3. Top 3 typically gets separated out pretty decently. It's been just under fire. If you're in that 5th place spot, you've never been safe this entire race.
Absolutely not. And I got to ask you, Logan, do you have someone you're looking at as maybe in the best situation to win this race in this short shootout that we've got?
You know, seeing how well these restarts have gone for the leaders, I think the most reasonable answer is the 84 of Jacob Cochran. But I don't know, that 16 of Aaron Espy, he had damage early, got it fixed, did not use that fast repair, and he's clawed his way back up here to the 2nd place spot, up 10 positions from where he started back in 12th. He's got an opportunity to make it one more up to 11 and tie with the biggest mover of the race so far.
Yeah, I think you can't count that 16 out. Don't count out the 78 of Caleb Hunt. Not too far behind. Caleb's had a couple top 5s this season. Another strong run for driver number 78 tonight. I'm curious if we might not be able to grab a word, if we can find Caleb in the chat real quick and maybe pull him in for a word. Where is old Caleb? Caleb. There he goes. We'll move him in here. He's in race chat 1. We'll move him to broadcast 1. Caleb Hunt, Celis and Logan in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Man, as you're making this choose here in just a moment, what do you got to do to get to the front in these remaining 8 laps or so tonight?
Well, to be honest, we have a fast car, and we have a shot to win this if it goes green and play out, because the longer the race is, the car handles a lot better. We just got to get a couple laps under our belt, and hopefully we go green all the way, and then we have a shot. The first and second, is teammates. But we're just going to have to beat them in order to win. That's all it's going to take. But they're going to help each other to win.
Well, you never know what might happen. We'll be watching. Good luck out there, Caleb Hunt, the driver 78. 3rd place run going tonight. Moving you back to Race Chat 1.
Thank you.
All right, so you heard there from the driver in P3 in that number 78. That was Caleb Hunt saying these two are teammates, Espy and Cochran, but, you know, when you're going for a win, Logan, anything can happen here. Maybe the gloves come off. Maybe there are no teammates in these final 2 laps. We're not going to have to wait to find out. Cochran with a heck of a restart. Gillen stacks up the outside line. There's the crash that we hoped not to see. It's going to put us under yellow for the 12th time. That's right. Count them 12 times tonight. That 10 did just not get going, Logan.
That was not the ideal restart there for Joshua Gillen. And not to mention, there's one more that got stacked up in there as well. Andrew Shope, to add insult to injury, right there, just rams into that rear end of the 10. And that is going to be night over there for Shope, I believe.
Night potentially over for Shobe, who had a top 3 car much of the evening. AJ in the chat says 12 cautions, my word. I would agree. We've seen intensity in this race that we have not seen in months in Mystic Racing League in terms of intensity gone wrong, I should say. We've seen exciting races, but we've seen maybe a bit of the aggressiveness pop out tonight. Maybe that's a full moon out there. I'm not sure what's going on, but either way, we're working the 12th caution tonight here for race number 21 in the Mystic Racing League Fall Creek Plumbing Series. I'm Ellis Thomas, joined by Logan Threlkeld and Johnny Rapp in the booth tonight. It's going to be a 5-lap or less shootout. Logan in the chat. We got Derby saying, can they put the hood back on that car? Unfortunately, the answer is I don't think at this point that's going to do that 69 car any good, Derby. We appreciate you tuning in, along with Donnie Gillespie in here as well. Appreciate you tuning in, Johnny. Right now, Logan, you think we're done with the cautions? I'm not convinced that we are. I think we might be in store for a green-white checkered.
We very well might be. And, you know, that sometimes puts on some of the best finishes. That's where you get the drivers that, you know, they finally settled down. They realize, hey, we want to finish this under green too. That makes for fun racing all through the field. So hopefully we'll get to see that happen. I'd hate to see this one finish under yellow flag conditions.
We get a couple opportunities for those green-white checkers right now. Coming to the stage, I think we're going to be coming to the stage. Not the stage break, the choose rule. We got another lap or so before we do the choose rule. I think that gives us a moment to hit the pause button on our end to take a quick, I promise quick, break to hear from our partners at Whiplash SimCams, who bring you all the amazing camera angles you see tonight that our amazing expert producer Johnny Rapp has brought you throughout much of this evening, folks. I promise we'll be back in 30 seconds or less for the final 3 laps of race number 21 here for Mystic Racing League. Don't go anywhere. Right now, we are getting ready for a restart that's going to be a 3-lap Saturday night shootout between Jacob Cochran, Aaron Espy, Caleb Hunt, in Christian Barnes. And boy, look out for that 27. He's been fast all night, arguably the second fastest car outside of Cochran right now. I know Aaron Espy might not like to hear that, but these 4 drivers, I think you're going to really watch out for any of them, as we're about a third of a lap away from the restart right now. Aaron Espy on that inside. Jacob Cochran elected to take that outside line. He got a great restart last time. This is going to be potentially the money restart. It's going to get intense, folks. Hold your breath, hold your horses. It's time to go racing, maybe for the final time tonight. 3 laps to go, leaders side by side. That's Cochran and Espy setting sail down into turn number 1. Espy on the inside, Cochran sends it in on the outside. He gains the advantage, but Christian Barnes outside of row number 2, trying to claim the second position down into turn 3.
And I'm not entirely sure what happened to Espy there. That bottom line got a massive jump. The best one that we've seen from the non-control car on the lead row is here we go. Brandon Willard hits the wall across the tri-oval, shoots it down to the apron, but keeps it under control. And now we've got a car sideways in the back of the field. It's the 91 at the top of the track. He is going to get down to the apron. No caution. We're going to be bringing around here for the white flag, Ellis.
Whiplash Simcam's white flag waves to the time tonight. Here comes Aaron Espy in that number 16. A hard charge down to the inside. He's close enough to taste the back bumper of Jacob Cochran. They both set sail down the back straightaway for the final time tonight. Does Espy put the bumper? He moves to the inside. Cochran can't do anything other than try to get the run. He has nothing for Espy. Aaron Espy with the last corner pass for the win here at Iowa. Wow.
What a move from Aaron Espy. I felt like it was coming there, and he timed it perfectly.
My goodness. What did we just watch? I felt like maybe the 16 maybe caught Jacob Cochran sleeping there a little bit off guard. Cochran maybe didn't have the speed he thought he had on the outside there.
It doesn't seem like he did. Cochran might have backed up that corner just a little bit too much. You see here, Espy's able to make up ground. 84 gets a little bit of a better run out of turn 4, but there's Espy all over the back bumper into the corner. He's just getting better entrances here. The teammates battling it out for the win. And here's the race-winning move down to the inside. Cochran stays up on that high line, still in the groove, but that speed just wasn't there for the 84.
Well, we're going to hear from all of the podium finishers, including that winner, Aaron Espy, here in just a moment, as we get a chance to maybe collect our breaths as well as you at home. Winner of the Ryan Blaney diecast tonight, most active chatter, AJ Hale. I know you already sent us an email. If for whatever reason, if that didn't go through, again, go back to our email earlier in the chat, ssracingleagues@gmail.com. We'll get that sent to you absolutely free of charge. We appreciate you tuning in, AJ, as well as everyone else who tuned in and was active or not active in the chat tonight. We appreciate y'all watching either way. It means the world to us and these drivers. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and try to bring in Christian Barnes into the chat. Looking to see where he is here.
Looks like Water Force Racing for Barnes.
Water Force Racing. There he is. Oh, he's already... Did he just move in? There he is.
He did.
All right. Christian Barnes, it's Ellis and Logan up in the Slingshot booth. You got a copy, number 27.
Yeah, they're...
Man, it was a roller coaster of a night for you, man. Started near the front, ran strong early on. Walk us through what happened early on to put you back in the pack. You had a little bit of an incident, contact.
Yeah, it just looked like Cochran was doing his best to try to get me on that restart, and he just... I think he tried to push his car a little bit further than the car could go, and he put it in the wall, and unfortunately, I was... not clear of him, and I got clipped and wrecked. And after that, I was thinking, instead of using my fast repair, to wait a while and hope that I can get more and more cautions to fix the damage. Unfortunately, I didn't get as many cautions as I thought I was going to get until towards the end. I was finally able to use the fast repair and I was trying to gain on one of the restarts. I got to the outside of Caleb. I think we were 3 wide, and I just was trying to give too much room because I didn't want to come down and spin or anything like that. So I tried to stay as high as I could, and I just barely touched the wall. And then once you touch the wall, it basically hooks you and it grabs you and it doesn't let you off. And I spun it all on my own. I was able to get most of the damage repaired, and at the end, just constant cautions. My car was not usually good on the short run. It was usually really good as the run went on, and unfortunately, I just didn't get, those long runs once my car was fixed. So I got to third.
Man, you made the most of it there towards the end. I know that you were looking for a little bit better tonight, but considering all the circumstances that happened, that 27 had a good evening, a good points night. We know you're already locked into the playoffs, so maybe a little bit of that pressure is off. Before we let you go celebrate that third place finish, you got any shout outs?
I want to shout out my new team, Waterforce, with Gavin and Brad. And then I also want to shout out Alex Pollock for making my paint schemes.
Awesome, man. Well, you had a good night. Go out there and celebrate that third place finish.
Thank you very much.
Sir. All right, Logan, I'll let you take it away with Jacob Cochran.
Yeah, we've got Jacob Cochran down here on the second step of the podium. A solid night here. We saw you in the lead for 26 laps, and it all came down to that last corner with your teammate. Walk us through from that last restart here. What were the thought processes with, running so closely with Aaron Espy there?
Yeah, I mean, really just try to both of us control the race and control kind of what goes on behind us. And then the last lap, just duke it out. He was faster than me in practice and qualifying and in the race. I just had track position there at the end. And in the last corner, it's gloves off, and teammates is not a term anymore. So I knew that he was going to get to my back bumper, so I went up to the high line trying to get a run off, but it just didn't happen. But man, congratulations to him. He's been working really hard to get the win, and 1 and 2, you can't ask for any better.
Certainly not. And if I recall correctly, Espy did mention he was here for a win and nothing else. So, good team effort between the two, taking 1 and 2. Now, I'm curious, how were those cautions affecting you? Were you happy to see that string of yellow flags come out to end out this race? Or do you think if we might have seen a green flag run, you might have kept it ahead of the 16?
No, I think Aaron definitely had me on the longer run. He could manage his tires a lot better than I could. I think the cautions actually helped me between me and him, but in all honesty, I was really wanting to go green so me and him could try to get as far out as front as we could, and then, kind of go from there. So, it was kind of a double-edged sword really, but I think really the cautions kind of hurt us because, we couldn't get that gap that we wanted. But on the other hand, it's, instead of going 25 laps green, we ended up going, green, white, checkered. So, either which way you look at it there, but I would have liked to have seen it go green the rest of the way.
And just one more for you here, Jake, before we get to your shout outs, but I'm curious, I heard a lot of chatter over the race comms. What was it like to be kind of in the middle of that? You weren't really involved with much, but obviously still hearing it. Did that affect your mentality at all?
No. I mean, I do a pretty good job of kind of tuning all that out. Tensions were high. You got a slick track, cars that, really hard to hang on to. So tempers are very short. I think the biggest thing for all of us that finished the race and finished up front was just keeping a cool head the whole race and, just looking forward. I got into Christian at the end of stage 2. I felt bad for that. I just tried to get a run on the outside and just got tight and hit the wall and come down on him. But, I think both of us, we just kind of kept going, moving forward. And I think that's why we were able to finish in the top 3.
Well, that you did. A great team day and a great day for yourself. P2 is nothing to scoff at. Jacob Cochran, fantastic job tonight. I'm sure you have somebody to say thanks to.
Oh, yeah. first of all, shout out to my team, Aaron SB Racing, obviously. Congrats on Aaron winning. Hell of a job for first and second. That's awesome. Want to shout out David Moyer as well, our other teammate, finishing 7th. Can't get no better, top 10. So, and then also our crew chief / spotter, Ravi Moyer, for always helping us on strategy and just kind of, what's going on from what we can't see. And then shout out to Brett Wren and Fall Creek Plumbing for sponsoring the series. Of course, Mystic for doing the league, and then you guys up in the S-Harmon booth as well.
Well, again, congratulations, Jacob. P2, get to celebrating, buddy. That's worth it right there.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Ellis,
Yo, go ahead.
I was just going to say, go ahead and take it away. I know you've caught up with our race winner now. Aaron Espy standing by in winner's circle.
In winner's circle here for Sofa News, Aaron Espy, you are the winner here at Iowa, win number 1 on the season. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, it was a wild one out there. You won it in wild fashion with a great last corner pass on your teammate, Jacob Cochran, to win. But it was a night of ups and downs. We talked to you earlier in the race after an early mishap. Walk us through the process of locking back in to work your way from near the back of the field all the way up to the flip side in victory lane.
Well, yeah, there in stage 2, I was just trying to stay out of trouble, survive a little bit, but I did need a little bit of track position to have anything at the end, so I was just trying to work my way up to the front. And at the end there, we had a lot of cautions, which really helped me save on the tires, so it worked out well.
In those final kind of couple laps, I want to kind of get in your head a little bit of, were you thinking, had you already done a little rehearsal about where you could make those passes? Had you already kind of worked it up in your head with a game plan, or was that a last minute decision to make that dive to the inside and slide up in front of Cochran, hoping that, you were clear?
Well, we're on the same comms during the race, so I didn't want to give him the bumper, and he was a little bit tight. So, he did race me a little cleaner. I would have used the bumper if I had to, but yeah, he was very, very respectful. Probably the best teammate you could have out there. Kept it clean.
Everyone loves a good teammate, and this locks you into the playoffs, so a little bit more or less pressure on you. Takes the pressure off headed into next week at Watkins Glen. Believe it's our 4th road course race of the season, and road courses, just looking statistically, haven't been your strongest point. Does this give you a little bit of a extra pep in your step headed into the right-handers up in upstate New York?
I actually won't be there. I'm not eligible for the playoffs because I'm just a part-timer. I haven't made the required starts. I'll be back for Daytona and Richmond and a few other on the schedule, but it's just to try to win. No points for me, not in this series.
So not enough starts to make those playoffs, but you got bragging rights tonight. You're looking for more of these over the course of the season. Man, before we let you go celebrate that just thrilling win, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys up in the booth, SRM. You put on a great broadcast. We all enjoy to watch these races back. I'd like to thank my team, AER, obviously Jacob Cochran, my other teammate, David Moyer. He was up there with us, but he had a bit of bad luck there with another car on the track. But yeah, overall, we did great.
You had a great night. We were talking about it earlier with Jacob. It was just a great overall night for the team. All those cars were strong over the course of the evening. We won't see you next week at Watkins Glen, but we will see you in a couple of weeks from Daytona, man. Go celebrate that first win of the season. Drinks are on me.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Well, Logan, this race had quite the amount of thrills, maybe a little bit more than some of the drivers would have preferred, but we got through all 150 laps, and you and I are both here to talk about it. Not all the drivers were at the end of the race, but we just heard from the top 3. Let's go ahead and walk through the rest of the running order. We heard from SB Cochran and Barnes Fourth was Caleb Hunt. Great finish for driver number 78. Was around at the end when it counted. Brad Nelson recovered from an incident earlier in the race to finish fifth tonight. Great top five for driver number 33. Brandon Willard just kept a tight straight wheel all night long and brings home his best finish of the season in that 12 car with that sixth position. David Moore, you heard teammate of Cochran and winner Aaron Espy, finishes in the seventh position. Douglas Wasaki finishes eighth in that number 11. Gino Volante on his birthday, best finish of the season in ninth in that number 35. Joshua Gillen had a top five going until the end. He still walks away with an impressive top 10 here at Iowa. I'll let you read through the rest of the top 20, Logan.
And back here in 11th, it's the 91 of Alan Zukov. A quiet night for him, but just outside the top 10. Can't complain too much there. And then we're going to get into our cars that did not finish on the lead lap, starting out in 12th with the 01 of Stephen Gill. Bad luck falling on his side multiple times this race, finishes 3 laps down. The 39 of Gavin Henson will be next in line in 13th with 7 laps down. Andrew Shove, the 69, late race incident, and that's very upsetting. The 69 machine of Shove, he was fast all night long, consistent up in the top 5, falls back to 14th, 8 laps down. Alex Pollock in the 92, you saw the heart rate monitor. It skyrocketed once he disconnected from the session, came back 4 laps down, tried to battle back. I think it ended up happening a couple more times. Overall, 9 laps down for the 92. Reggie Kimes struggles on the track there. A couple cautions coming out for the 9 machine sideways in the middle of the track more than a handful of times. The 9 finishes out in 16th, 13 laps down. Will certainly be looking to recover next week at the Glen. Christopher Benning, the 64, a couple big hits will put him back 13 laps down in the 17th position. Adam Holston in the 8. Bad luck falls his way as well. 14 laps down in 18th. Derek Jewett in the 45, another driver that was in the conversation quite a bit up there in the top 10. He's going to fall out of it quickly. 17 laps down for the 45 and 19th. And last but not least, it's the 71 of Evan Janik. After some on-track beef, gets disqualified from the race session tonight.
Logan, this was a night that I don't think we've seen this season for Mystic Racing League, where the full moon must have been out because tempers were just at a full bore tonight in a way that we haven't seen. Short track under the lights with a ill-handling race car was kind of the perfect combination that set us up for an intense 150 laps. And man, I had a pleasure working with you tonight for the first time. I appreciate you stepping in. Chris on vacation. It is Chris's birthday tonight, so shout out to our normal analyst, Chris Smith. Hopefully he's enjoying his birthday. But hey, you're a pretty good replacement. You're no Chris, but you know it was fun to work with you. I appreciate you stepping in.
I don't know how to take that, but we'll take it in stride. Ellis, it's been fantastic. We had a great race on the board tonight. Unfortunately, multiple cautions, 10 of them natural, 2 for the stage breaks. It's not something you normally see here on the Thursday night. But it's the race that we had, and it's the race that we put on a great show for. I hope everybody at home enjoyed it. I certainly had fun up here. Hopefully, Ellis and Johnny, you guys both had fun. And hopefully we get to do it again soon.
Man, Logan, you're like 1,000 times better than Chris. I just couldn't say that on here. Oh, I'm live. I'm just kidding. Chris, happy birthday. Just kidding. You both are great. It was a pleasure to work with you. Everyone who tuned in tonight, I appreciate you just as much. We are so grateful for your viewership here at Slingshot Racing Media. We've got weekly racing on Monday nights, Wednesday nights, and Thursday nights. Monday nights are the ARCA cars for the Spark Racing League. On Wednesday nights, we've got the trucks, which normally, Logan, you're on the call for those as well with Sky Shrek. Y'all do a wonderful job on that. And then obviously tonight's Mystic Racing League. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single minute of the action. As we mentioned, next week, we're headed to upstate New York to the Glen. Drivers making right-hand turns along with those left-handers for the 4th time this season. That is in less than a week. The points will be shook up just a little bit as we have 5 races remaining before the playoffs begin here for the first annual Mystic Racing League Fall Creek Plumbing Series. We're going to crown a champion in just a month and a half from now, folks. Don't go anywhere. Tune in next week. We are so excited you chose us tonight. We hope you choose us again. Have a great evening, everyone. So long from Iowa. We'll see you all in New York next week.